So the first step, depending on your type of business, let's say if you run, I don't know, a landscaping company, in that case, Google should be your best friend. If you run something like a local gym or spa, Facebook and Instagram is your best friend. You could also, of course, work with Google. And when I say work with Google, I'm referring mostly to paid ads, running ads on Google. Because in case, let's say, if you have a gym, and then if you try to run ads on Google, that's going to be more expensive compared to Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. So first of all, you basically need to figure out which platform would work for you the best based on your ideal client.
Welcome to Biz Help for You, the show that saves you the expensive learning curve by providing advice from industry experts in every facet of the entrepreneurial journey. Too many small businesses collapse. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 20% fail within their first year, and less than 35% make it to their 10th anniversary. The goal of this podcast is to change that statistic. So if you're interested in learning more to be a successful entrepreneur, tune in today.
Let me tell you a little bit about my guest today. Alex Thoric is the founder of a marketing agency and co-founder of Building Income on Demand, a digital marketer who has great experience working with different industries such as spas, gyms, coaches, consultants, real estate, and restaurants. He's a big sports fan, holder of a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo, practicing it for the last 15 years, and even had his own school. So, Alex, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Candy, for having me on.
I'm looking forward to this conversation. I'm sure listeners are looking forward to the information you're going to share to help them attract even more clients. But before I get into questions I have for you on the topic, I'd love for you just to share your story of how you began working with entrepreneurs.
Sure, yeah. Do you want a short version of it, or?
Yeah, just a little bit of information to help the listener know, like, why you're an expert.
Yeah, sure. So when I was about 7 years ago, I was part of this network marketing company, and I'm sure you know how the industry works, the business model that network marketing has, where you can sell services and products, as well as recruit other people to grow your team, to grow your organization. So I had a couple of people on my team already, but then I was kind of tired of running after people and trying to show them the business opportunity, the business presentation. And I started looking for different ways, started Googling how to do it differently. And then I found out about funnels. So I got curious, what's a funnel? And then I got into this rabbit hole of email marketing, social media ads, content, and everything that you can think of when we talk about online marketing. And I implemented that for myself, started a webinar, had a couple of registrations. One person showed up, which was quite a win because, the system itself worked. And then I shared that with my friend, who's my business partner today. And we also spoke with other, because back then I was going to college, was in business administration and marketing. And I had to talk to different business owners to do some research. And a lot of them were saying, like, we like this whole social media thing, we don't really know how it works. And then at this point, I've went through all of these different courses that I got from people like Ryan Dice, from Digital Marketer, and Billie Jean, and many others. So we saw an opportunity and the need in the marketplace, and we started a marketing agency.
Okay, perfect. Well, I know, there's just so many things out there that people hear about in terms of digital marketing, and you should be doing all these different things, and it can feel very overwhelming. So for somebody who is not sure where to begin, or maybe they're trying it all and they're just feeling too overwhelmed, like, what is the most effective first step that they really should be taking to attract the clients?
So the first step, depending on your type of business, let's say if you run, I don't know, a landscaping company, in that case, Google should be your best friend. If you run something like a local gym or spa, Facebook and Instagram is your best friend. You could also, of course, work with Google. And when I say work with Google, I'm referring mostly to paid ads, running ads on Google. Because in case, let's say, if you If you have a gym, and then if you try to run ads on Google, that's going to be a bit more expensive compared to Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. So first of all, you basically need to figure out which platform would work for you the best based on your ideal client. So you would need to know how they search for things. Then knowing who is your ideal client, now you need to create an offer for them. So let's say, again, I'll take it as an example, a gym. The offer that we were running with many of our clients, those were group training gyms, and we would just they had a 6-week program, and we would merge content with this offer, and we would promote that on social media specifically, because there are so many different options with gyms these days, and running it on Google, that's going to be a bit too expensive. Or let's say if you run your local realtor, or you have a brokerage with real estate agents, it would be way more expensive for you to advertise on Google, because you would need to compete with all those brands. So think of Century 21, Remax, Compass, all of those, because they have the budget to advertise on Google. They don't care as much if they need to spend $5, $10, $15, $20 per click compared to you, when you want to make sure that the campaign that you launch works for you right away, and then you get your money back within that, let's say, first or second month.
Right. Well, there's so much that I thought of, right, as you were just giving that explanation. And one of the things you were talking about, knowing who their clients were. And I know, using the examples of a gym, right, someone might say, well, my client would be anyone who wants to lose weight, right? So how do I determine where they would be, on social media to know where to target? But that's quite broad, right? So do you want to touch on maybe even how to figure out how to determine who an ideal client might be, and then how to find out what platform they are on so you can target them there?
Yeah. So if we'll continue with the example of a gym, regarding the target audience and your ideal client, I mean, of course, you would know who you want to work with. That's first things first. If you're mostly working with people who are 30 plus, then there's definitely Facebook. Everything under 30, it's Instagram. Same thing goes for TikTok. I'm personally, not a huge fan for TikTok, specifically for the service-based businesses, because people go to TikTok to get entertained. And Facebook and Instagram, they're more mature platforms. Even though it's changing now, TikTok is kind of becoming mature as well. TikTok is good for e-commerce. So if you do have an e-commerce store within your business, then you should definitely be on TikTok. But in case with the gym, if we go back to this example, for the age, again, it's either Facebook or Instagram. Usually what you would need to do is, because it's owned by Meta, so you would run the campaign on both platforms, and you would let Meta decide which platform works the best based on your copy and the creative. So the way platforms work these days, you can take any platform, Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, LinkedIn. All of them use AI on the back end to target your audience. So let's say a couple of years ago, we would be super specific with maybe the age, the gender, like if it's important for you, age, gender, right? But most importantly, different interests or maybe job titles, and we could narrow down as much as we want to. Like we want people from, let's say, in the category of 30 to 50 years old. They should work in the finances, and they should also, like narrowing that down, they should also be interested in physical activities, or basically something that's related to workouts, right? So then in that case, it would be super targeted. The way platforms and algorithms work these days is they really look at your copy and your creative. So when I say creative, it could be the image or the video. So whatever you talk about in the video, it could literally be like a 30-second short that you're using. Whatever you talk about in that video, if you have captions, if you don't have captions, doesn't matter. It's still reading what you talk about, and what you write in the ad itself. Their AI will take that and will start targeting those people who are most likely to be interested in those topics. Yeah.
Well, even the ads can be confusing because I know I've heard people say before too, like, well, I probably should be advertising, but it's so confusing to even know how to set up an ad, like a campaign that I want to be promoting. It talks about A/B testing. Like,
hmm
this whole thing is confusing, right? So, can you maybe explain in a little bit more detail, like, what really does it take for you to create an ad and start getting that out there?
Yeah. So in case with ads, the way we look at it these days, what we call hybrid marketing. So we would help, or we would basically help our client record 3 to 5 short form videos in order to videos that can educate their audience. And then that would be an engagement ad. You can go to YouTube, you can Google it, you can see how to set up that ad campaign, specifically engagement ad campaign, with the budget of literally $3 to $5 a day per video. The goal of that is to make people, how it is. Like, people buy from you when they know, like, and trust you. So the goal of that campaign is to build that trust, because today people are not trusting anyone as much as they used to. And the goal is to show your expertise, that you know what you're talking about, and that so that you can also have multiple touches with those people. That way, you also build a goodwill in the marketplace. And then you can run the second ad campaign specifically for lead generation. You could literally use on Facebook lead form. Again, you can Google it and then see how that works. We do have different articles, different resources on that. So in that case, you don't even need to have your own, let's say, a funnel, not even a website necessarily, because you can capture people's contact info right there on Facebook and Instagram. I'm sure you've seen those type of ads. When you click on it, a window pops up and it asks you for name, email, and phone number most of the times. And then you
Right.
click submit, and then you have like another option of maybe go to the website or call the business. But in that case, you pretty much collect people's contact information with your offer. But at this point, they already have an idea of who you are.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, and
So
that's a
that's
whole nother thing, creating all of those things too, right? Because that could be overwhelming for some people too, is I don't know what to create for a reel or how to post a story or things like that too. So do you have any tips on that part too?
yeah. So in case with Reels, honestly, keep it super simple. Literally take your phone. What I could do is, in order to do some research, go to ChatGPT, or to make it easier, go to YouTube, and then look at the biggest creators in your industry and then see what they talk about. Because most of the times, those people that have huge accounts, huge YouTube channels, they have done the work. They know exactly what are the pain points of the audience, the pain points and desires. And you can look at those topics, take those topics, and create a short version of it. It could be a 30-minute video, it could be a 60-second video. Sorry, a 30 to 60-second video. It could be even a little longer if you want to, which is good as well. But again, in the beginning, you just need 3 to 5 short form videos. So you take your phone and you start talking about that. It's as simple as that. If it's a little harder for you to just stare in the camera and talk, because it is not something that you do on a daily basis, you could use an app called Big Vu. It's a Big VU. It's a teleprompter, so you can prepare a script, go into ChatGPT, write a prompt saying, this is a topic that I want to talk about. You can give it as much information as possible, so it can write you a really good prompt, a really good script, sorry. And then you can take the script, copy, paste into the app, the Big View app on your phone, and just click record and start reading from the the script itself. And there you go, you have your videos.
Well, I know too, I've heard a lot of times people are saying, even if you have a company name that you're promoting, you really should be building your own brand as well. So, how do you feel about, you've got a company name you're trying to get out there, but you also want them to know you? Like, what do you feel about the personal brand versus promoting your business?
I would agree 100% on promoting a personal brand, because at the end of the day, people do business with people, not with companies, unless it's, let's say, something like Nike or, I don't know, Adidas, right? Like huge companies in the those ones that are in the S&P 500, for example, because it's a different type of business and different approach. But for small business owners or even medium-sized businesses, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust, it definitely makes sense for you to build a brand, a personal brand. The best example that I can give you is Elon Musk, and specifically Tesla. If it wasn't for him, or if it wouldn't be for him, people would not be as excited about Tesla as they are right now. And
even with the whole conflict that, a lot of people don't like him as a person.
Yeah. Well, that's another side, but let's say, like, if we talk about the business and building a personal brand, because I also had this conversation with a friend of mine, and he was like, and I said, like, well, just do it this way, and he was like, yeah, but I don't want to be known only for that one thing. What if in the future I want to start another business? I'm like, so what's the problem with that? Elon Musk has 10, I think it's about 10 or 12 companies that he's working on, and people kind of know about it, and there's nothing wrong with it. Another example that I could give you is Gary Vee. Exactly the same idea. He has multiple different companies. Like, the main one, of course, is VaynerMedia, which is, or I guess at this point it's VaynerX, and that's where they have lots of different companies under it. Plus, it has all these different projects that he's doing with NFTs, and I know that they launched an entire software for restaurants, something like that. And yet he leveraged his personal brand in order to grow that.
Well, on the flip side of that too, right? I, in my own company too, am having it, run without me now too, right? I'm trying to step away because I don't want to be the bottleneck, or if something were to happen to me, the company needs to continue. And I'm teaching others so they can actually have freedom, not have to work their business 24/7. So how do we balance that, where we do want clients to be comfortable with us? We want to see, yes, they know us and like us and trust us, and then they want to work with our business. Yet we don't want the client to feel we have to be the one providing the service. So how do we balance that and still have the personal brand, but have that freedom to step away?
I think they just need to, business owners need to set the right expectations in advance, so that clients know that they will not work with you, but they'll work with your team. And since they're part of your team, if they want to work with you and those people are part of your team, they'll get exactly the same level of service like they would get it from you. What some people are doing, actually heard it from Gary Vaynerchuk himself, where he said, if you want to get I think it was him, but the idea is that I've heard this before from a high-level CEO, where he said, if you really want to get access to me and have my phone number, that's going to be a different price.
Right.
So
a lot of people do that.
Yeah. So at this point, it just becomes a level of access to you. So if people are willing to pay more to have direct access to you, they could do that. But it's only going to be only for a certain amount of people.
Right. Exactly. Because you don't want to become overwhelmed, if all of these people still want you, there's only so much time in your day, So, yeah.
And you build business for a reason. Like, you don't want to create another job for yourself.
Right. Exactly. Well, earlier too, I know you mentioned funnels, and I would love for you to talk about that and why you feel they actually work and they're necessary to generate those leads for your business.
Well, the funnel is a great way to generate those leads, to send. So you would use a funnel. I'll put it this way. So people say, well, I have a website. Why can't I just use a website? You definitely can. The only issue with a website, let's say if you send traffic, if you run ads and you send people to the website, because most of the times on the website you have multiple different buttons, different options, different pages where people can go to, you're going to lose them. And the difference between a website and a funnel, let's say landing page, in case with landing page, they have only two options. They either fill out the form for that offer, whatever they want to get access to, download, to book a consultation, or leave. If they do leave, you can run a retargeting ad that can say, oh, I noticed you didn't finish the process, like go back and finish it. You could do a similar thing with a website, but because, again, there are way too many options, that's why funnels work the best. Also, in case with a funnel, the first step is to get the most important contact information, which is most of the times name, email, phone number. And then after that, you could literally create an application form, or maybe more of a quiz or survey where you can show one question at a time to get more information from those people and to pre-qualify for your services, to better understand who they are and what are their needs.
Well, and you use the word retargeting. I've heard that. I know what it is, but some people may not be sure of what that is, or some may know what it is, but don't know how it works. So how would somebody then potentially be able to still interact with someone who didn't sign up for that free download or whatever it was, and they left their page? Can you explain that?
Yeah. So do you want me to explain the technical part, how it works? Or
That'd be
general
great. Just so the entrepreneur understands the concept and how they can actually still interact with someone who didn't sign up for their freebie.
Sure. So the idea of a retargeting page is for someone to, let's say, especially these days, everyone is busy. We live in a world where everyone is trying to get our attention. And if somebody comes to your landing page to download something, to get more, to get a quote, and if for some reason they don't finish the product, they don't fill out the form, what you could do at this point is you can retarget or launch a retargeting campaign with the idea that people that came to the page, those people that came to the page and did not fill out the form, only those people will see the ad saying something like, hey, we noticed you started the process, but you didn't finish it. Go back and finalize it. And the way you do it is this, like the way you would set it up is you would basically explain to Facebook, if we talk about Facebook specifically, like show this ad to people that came to this page, but they didn't see the next page. That's how the retargeting works. And that's how, let's say, if you go to any e-commerce store or even Amazon, that's how they know that you, let's say you added something to the cart, but then you didn't go through, or maybe
check out.
Or you are already in the checkout process, but you didn't click, let's say, order. Now you can retarget people based on each and every action.
But that sounds like it could be confusing, having to create another campaign saying, well, if they came here and didn't do this, is that really, it sounds complicated, but it's really easy? Or how does that work?
It's really easy because you set it up once and you just let it work there. Because in case with campaigns that you launch to send traffic to, let's say, the website, to the funnel, to the landing page, in that case, you need to test maybe different creatives and different copies most of the times. Not even the audience. It's the creative and the copy. In case with retargeting, it's more of a reminder. It's more of a nudge, like, hey, you forgot, go back and finish it. Because, like, I'll give you the perfect example. I had a call 2 days ago. So we hosted an event 2 weeks ago. It was kind of a networking event. And the person went through the entire process. Like, they came to the page, like we could track everything. She came to the page the first day. She came to the registration page the second day. She filled out the form, but she didn't buy. And then about 40 minutes later, she bought the ticket to the event. And then had a call with her 2 days ago. We started talking about automations, all these things. And she said, how does it work? So I just showed her my screen and showed her the back end. And the exact process that she went through with her account. And she did say, like, oh yeah, that is right. Like, I was at work and somebody called me and I forgot about it. And then she received an email and saw an ad where it says, like, hey, it looks like you forgot to finish the purchase. And she basically went back and finalized the purchase.
Okay. So when people are looking at all of these different things they could be doing, there are obviously mistakes, that business owners are making with all of this. So can you touch on maybe what some of those mistakes are and what can they do to correct those?
Yeah, I would say one of the biggest mistakes is not knowing the exact audience or who's the ideal client. Because as I said earlier, like, anyone can be my client. Like, I can help anyone to lose weight, but It's the same thing. Like prior to COVID, about 70% of our clients were restaurants. And then even in case with them, when we would have a meeting and we would ask exactly the same question, like, who would you like to target? Like, who's your audience? And they'll say, everyone. Everyone likes to eat. Everyone can come and have fun. I'm like, so in their case, they had a kind of a chain of sport bars.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yes, but no. It's like families with kids are not going to come to a sport bar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe if they want to like join a game or watch a game, but not necessarily with smaller kids, maybe with kids that are, I don't know, teenagers, let's say. So even in case with restaurants, they have their ideal audience. So most of the times it's knowing who is your ideal client, what are their pain points, and what are their desires. So you literally need to put yourself in their shoes and try to understand what is it that they're thinking about in their head. There's a saying in the world of marketing, join the conversation happening in your customer's head. So that way you would know, because let's say, if they see the ad and it's calling them out based on their pain point or maybe desire, and let's say if it's a small business that works specifically locally, you could also call out them based on the location. So it could be something like attention, the name of the city or the state, and then you go with a question: are you struggling with, or is this thing bothering you? Or start with a desire: is this something that you always wanted to do? And if you know those specific, if you have the data, you have the information, what they struggle with or they want to achieve, then you'll definitely get results out of it. And that should be used in all of your marketing, not just ads, not just on social media, your emails, your text messages. If you do traditional marketing, exactly the same thing.
Well, this has been an informative discussion. I'm sure listeners will have learned a lot, but I know we're coming to the end of the time we have together. So I wanted to ask if you have an offer that you would like to extend to our listeners, and how can they contact you if they want more information?
Sure. Well, I would like to say thanks a lot for having me on. I would like to share a resource that I think a lot of small business owners can take advantage of. So what we did is we looked at our best performing clients and we wanted to see what is it that we are doing for them that they were getting the results that they came for. So we came up with this 9-step roadmap. And your listeners could go to the website bidacademypodcast.com and download that resource where we basically explain each and every step that they could implement. And we explain what we just talked about from step 1, where we let's say go over the numbers, your ideal client, the offer, the funnel, what kind of ads to run. We explain why they should run those type of ads and how to set them up step by step.
Perfect. And any other way you would like someone to reach out to you, or that's the one spot that they should go?
Yeah. I mean, if you guys have any questions, you want to see different types of content, you can reach out to me on social media. It's at every platform, Alex Thoric. If you prefer emails, it's going to be alex@buildingincomeondemand.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Alex, for being a guest on my show, talking on this topic. I know it can often be confusing for someone, especially if entrepreneurs are just beginning, their journey. So thank you for sharing the tips.
Yeah, I'm glad that I was able to do that, and thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity.
And to the listener, if you enjoyed today's topic and you want to hear additional information, you can find access to exclusive content in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in today. Would you please share this episode with those you know and leave a review on your favorite platform? And if you find our show informative, would you consider being a financial sponsor to help me continue my mission to educate business owners? A link is located in the episode description, and no amount is too small. I'd really appreciate your support. If you are interested in connecting with our guest and receiving the offer they had to share, a link to our resource page is in the show notes. Finally, if you have any bookkeeping or payroll needs, reach out to us at 310-534-5577 or contact@abandp.com. My team and I are eager to assist you. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Biz Help for You. Please join your host, Candy Messer, again next time. Have a terrific day.